We're live. Welcome to Threads Radio. We've got an incredibly special guest who's lined up with the Altered Voltage party at the Cause tonight. So we're upstairs at the Cause, as you know, with Threads Radio, and we've got Detroit in effect sitting with us in the studio today. Thank you so much for coming down today. It's amazing.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, there's a huge amount of questions, but when was the last time you were DJing in the UK? I mean, I know you were DJing yesterday, but before that, have you been here recently?
The last party in the UK was La Cheetah in Scotland.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
What was the crowd like? It
was nice. It was it was amazing.
UK crowds. What? I mean, let's do a rating system. What the UK crowds like as opposed to Detroit crowds or Spanish crowds?
You know,
or whatnot?
UK crowd. Get it in. Now I'm gonna tell you.
I've not heard that term before. Get it in.
Oh yeah. The UK know how to party. Now I'm gonna tell you. I don't know who party the hardest between you guys and the Germans.
Oh right.
But
okay.
I mean, my God.
Yeah. A lot of people would say that's because the English as general have quite a big drinking problem.
It's an age-old contest across the pond.
I mean, one thing I wanted to ask you was you're part of the historical legacy of Detroit music, specifically Detroit electronic music. And I guess you teeter on the edge between techno and electro, perhaps, or would you say that you're more of the electro scene? Or I mean, how would you describe specifically the styles of music you've made over the years?
I kind of not like to get in the genre because when you get in the genre, you get in the box. I just like music that make you move.
It's the party, really.
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. I like to bring the party. I like to feel the party. I like music that get inside you and make you want to dance.
Yeah, absolutely.
It
gets you vibing.
And that could be anything. That could be anything from techno to electro, house. I mean, if it's good, it's good.
Absolutely,
exactly. So I just I was wondering, what's your opinion on like resurgence of electro at the moment? It seems like it's coming up quite a lot.
It is. It's it's like full circle. It's crazy. It's like things that started dying down, then all of a sudden it's like a new breed now. That's a new generation that's filling the electro, that's filling the old stuff. I noticed it probably about 3, maybe 4 years ago. Well, before that, I went to New York. I did a party, and it was okay. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a real big turnout, but it was cool. Then a couple years later, I went back to New York, and you couldn't even get in the club.
Right.
It was crazy. I was like, wow, and it was a whole new generation of people that they. One young lady came up to me. She said, I was listening to your record, my mom's records, and I came across your record, and I was like, wow.
That makes you know when you got a historical legacy when it's people's daughters are saying, is this my mum's records?
Yeah. So you mentioned the new generation. Like, are there any like up and coming producers or labels that you're really digging at the moment? Like, really like, I think that kind of pushing it in like a different direction.
It's so many. It's so many. With the internet and computers, and I mean, it's just so hard to. You may think you got one, then all of a sudden you hear something else. Like, well, what's that? Who's that?
There's always more.
Yeah. But there's a young guy, that's coming up out of Detroit named Jay Shaw. I would say, kind of keep eye on. He's, doing some nice stuff.
What was his handle?
Jeremiah Shaw.
Jeremiah Shaw.
Yeah.
And like one of your standout tracks, I guess, or one of the most popular tracks, is a track called "Are You Married," which is like would you say that's one of your anthems? I guess it's difficult for you to state what your anthem is. Maybe that's something the crowd can say or the audience can say. But
you know, it's funny when you making the record, and, you making the track, and you'll make a track, and you be like, oh man, this is it. This is gonna be it, and then. It does
isn't
not.
it? Yeah.
And then you make another track, and be like, yeah, I'm gonna just put this together.
Yeah.
And it's a hit. And you're like, okay, Are You Married? Almost didn't make it on the record.
Right. Almost decided not to.
Yeah, because it was a record.
Worth it. Like.
Yeah, it was a record at the time. You know, I did it. It was just, I thought it was a silly record, and I did it. And we were putting the 12-inch together. I said, hey, let's add this, put it on there. And who knew? Who knew?
And that's still one of your favorite tracks, even though it was after all these years, or difficult for you to judge that.
Yeah. As far as a favorite, I think one of my favorite tracks will probably be the "Men You Never See."
Okay, cool.
Because it really talks about Detroit artists, and it talks about it from a Detroit perspective. Yeah. Whereas a lot of people in Detroit, they hear the music, they know the music, but they never know who the artist is. They could never put a face with the artist. For sure. You can go to just about anybody in the inner city that goes to the club. They know the music all day long, and you can ask them what that person looked like. Have you ever seen them? And they couldn't tell you.
Maybe Underground Resistance got something right there.
Yeah.
Keeping it anonymous.
Yeah.
So, like specifically about you, I mean, you're an artist from Detroit, out of Detroit, very much. That's you emblazoned in your own name is Detroit, and that sense of place is, I guess, hugely important to your music as a whole. And there's now, what are we talking about? 40 years of, is it 40 years? No, 35, 40 years of electronic music history that's come from that city. Can you tell us a bit about maybe the evolution of the Detroit scene and maybe where it is today, and the kind of crowds that other crowds, a similar kind of crowd that would still have raved to the music back in the day? What is the scene like in Detroit?
Detroit has always been like a trendy city.
A trendy city.
Yeah. Was ever hot at the time, that's where Detroit gravitated towards. As far as the techno and electro, people still love the classics. Right. They still love the classics. You can go anywhere and put an old school set down and bring the house down. Not so much the new stuff. I mean, they get into the new stuff, but it has to grow on them, kind of gradually grow on them. And then say you could put something out now, and then 5-10 years from now, they go back and listen to it. Like, oh yeah, I remember that. That's my jam. But the old stuff, I mean, the old stuff is not going anywhere.
It's still good.
Oh yeah, it's like timeless music.
It'll still be popping off.
Oh yeah,
at clubs and whatnot to this day.
Oh yeah. And then sometimes you get the artists. Get a little frustrated sometimes with the DJs. Play some. There's a lot of new music out. Break a record. But then you got a lot of DJs. They want to go with what's known and try it and test it. It's kind of different though, because years ago, DJs. We love to, be the first one to break a record. You go to the record shop or something, you find something, you pride yourself on playing playing this track nobody else got, or being the first one to play it. Not so much now. Okay. Although I was reading a post yesterday, and there was a party. It was a cabaret party, you know, the Detroit style party cabaret, and in the city. And one DJ asked one of the other DJs that was there, you know, they asked who was spinning, and he told him. He said, but funny thing, he didn't play not one radio hit. Everything that was played, he said, I didn't know it. He said, but the crowd loved, they knew it. They knew every song. And there was a bunch of local stuff, which I thought was pretty cool, you know, because that's the way we should do it, you know. Play the stuff, you don't always have to gravitate toward the popular stuff.
Yeah.
You know? So.
But that crowd was like, knew what was going on, knew the latest tracks.
Yeah. Only thing, it was like hip hop, rap hip hop stuff. Detroit. Hip hop.
It was their town, like
Yeah.
it was their party, like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I've got one for you. So I've noticed that you've got a bit of a connection with Rotterdam and with Clone Records. How did that come about? What was the connection with that?
Clone is family.
Yeah.
You know, Clone is the reason I'm in Europe. Back when we were making records, we were basically making records trying to compete against other DJs in the city to see who can make the hottest record to get the party hype. I had no idea that somehow it made it all the way to Europe. I got a phone call one day. It was like 4 something in the morning, and this guy on the other end, you know, I thought somebody was, you know, playing, you know, and he's like, yeah, I'm so and so from the Netherlands. I'm like, from the Netherlands?
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I've been, you know, trying to get your music. Can you? He asked me what I had, you know, what all I had, you know. Now up until then, me and you know, P-Dog, we were just selling records on consignment in record shops. We'd go take a few records to a record shop and leave it there, and we'll call back. You need more, and that's what we were doing. And but then Surge came on, and he like faxed me over an inventory of everything you got. And I'm like, okay, so I faxed it over to him, and then he calls back and said, all right, give me everything.
All of it.
Nice.
You put it out. Like.
I said, what? He said, I'll take all of it. I'm like, well, bet.
Yeah.
And so, we shipped him everything, and then he called back and said, hey, can you guys come to Europe and play live? Now, up until then, we were just DJs. We never played live. But I'm like, yeah, we're gonna make this work. We're gonna put it together.
So do you prefer a live set or DJ set? What's your preference?
Well, I was a DJ before a producer, so DJ gonna always be my first love.
Yeah. I feel you. Yeah.
Is that quite a difficult thing then, like getting the production, like electronic music in large part, I guess, is something that you sit and hone for a long time and get it right? Is it difficult trying to recreate that in a live context, in a live setting? Or have you got it down pat now?
Nah, I mean, live is just it's something totally different, you know. Live, like, you know, live is live. I mean, I enjoy live too. Live, you can improvise. You could, try. Usually, like when I would do live stuff, when I was playing live, I could play tracks that introduce, new tracks and get the feel of it and see how people respond to it, and
There's nothing quite like 2 records, like.
Yeah.
There's nothing quite like doing that.
Yeah.
A big thing about your DJing style, I guess, would you say that it is something where it's about constant energy? So it's about not playing tracks out for a very long time. It's about keeping the vibe and the momentum going.
Yeah.
Where does that kind of come from? Where does that style come
blame Jeff Mills for that?
Blame Jeff Mills, right? Okay. 3 decks, 10-second mixes.
See,
and,
before I knew him as Jeff Mills, I knew him as The Wizard.
Oh, yeah.
And
on radio, right?
Yeah. So he had this radio show that used to come on in the 80s as The Wizard. And The radio show was probably in half an hour, but he would probably go through maybe 100, 150 songs.
Is that why he did it? Because he only had a half-hour slot or something, right?
I guess so. So I guess he was just throwing everything, he could throw at you, in that short amount of time.
Yeah.
I mean, and it was sweet. It was fresh.
Mm-hmm.
So you got that, you got everybody in Detroit listening to that.
Mm-hmm.
So now when you going out and DJing these parties,
Mm-hmm.
you got to somewhat, I mean, Jeff is the blueprint,
Right.
Mm-hmm. And he inspired a lot of DJs, in Detroit, and a lot of DJs in Detroit got that spin like that. Because when you at the party, when you DJing parties, people would tend to get bored real easy, so you have to keep them.
Keep it going.
Yeah. I'm gonna hit you with this. I'm gonna hit you with that. Hold on, wait a minute. I'm gonna hit you with this. Hold on, wait. Well, check this out. To keep them interested.
In the early 90s, were you playing the same parties as the Underground Resistance guys?
No.
Mm-mm.
I'm a street DJ.
Yeah.
You got producers that have become DJs, and then you got a DJ. Two totally different styles. A lot of the producers that became DJs, they mix a lot. They mix long, and it's and it's an art form in itself as well. But being the street DJ in the cabarets and the after hour clubs in the city, that wouldn't work.
So they're basically two different scenes, or interconnected but different scenes.
Two different scenes.
So you say, as the terminology uses, like the street DJs kind of thing, as opposed to
The producer
style things, right?
Yeah.
I mean, can you expand on that a little bit more? I mean, how that works in Detroit and the party scene, or maybe historically the party scene in Detroit, and who would be coming to those parties and different crowds that would go to.
When you get into like, say, who pull a name, like the Derek Mays, Kevin Sanderson, they would be more of a commercial type DJ as opposed to, a street
Underground.
Yeah. When you go to the cabaret or like a real Detroit party, you can't play techno all night.
Yeah.
You can't play, just one genre all night. You have to be able to play everything, and you have to be able to mix everything. That's why you never know what you're gonna get from me when I play.
Right.
I just play what I feel at the moment, and if it blends good, it sounds good, I'm gonna roll with it.
What are the good parties in Detroit, or the good venues at the moment?
See, I mean, you got some nice like techno clubs, house clubs. Like the Marble Bar, the TV Bar. Those are probably the two popular ones. But you got a lot of people around the city that's just throwing parties. I mean, some of the hardest parties you'll probably see is like these little hole in the wall clubs.
Yeah.
Some of them can be really dangerous.
Yeah. It's the same here, same in London.
Like I could show you some stuff on Facebook of certain parties, but people never, outside of if you're outside of Detroit, you don't know. You know the big names and all of that. For instance, you can go to like these parties that I'm talking about, and you can ask the average party goer, who is Kevin Sanderson, and they wouldn't be able to tell you. Then you could ask the same person, who is a Leon Purse. Oh, Leon is the man.
Right.
Who is Gary Chandler? Gary Chandler is the man. I mean, these guys, they run the DJ scene in Detroit. And what I would, my vision is to kind of bridge the gap to introduce these guys. And these guys, they've been doing it longer than me. It's the bridge, it's to build a bridge to introduce these guys to the world, because I think the world need to hear these guys. You guys ever heard of a show called The New Dance Show?
No, I haven't.
If you ever get time,
It's a television show.
It's they don't come on anymore. But it was a show that used to come on in the 80s, 90s, and there was a DJ on there. It was a segment of the show used to be called the Mix, and this DJ Jesse the Body, he would do the mix, and if you hear how he played, then you hear like elements of how I DJ and the club, the street DJ sound. And he was taught by a guy named Leon Purse. Leon Purse is he's a very popular DJ in Detroit, but street DJ. They had a crew at the time called Mad Sound, one of the baddest DJ crews that ever came up out of Detroit. They were so bad they even had a dance crew and the dance crew was called Mad Dancers. And all these cats are still around, and
That was a good party.
Oh yeah.
Just one thing with regards to that, because you're specifically talking about dance crews, and dance crews I think maybe not understood in Europe and the UK around music, not only from Detroit but also Chicago as well, and the dance crews and how that intersects with the clubbing scenes, specifically I guess in Chicago and Detroit, are really important. It isn't just about, as you say, the producers and the music. It is about the vibe, and it's about the interaction of crowds and how that they fuel the music as well. Would that be a correct assessment of it?
Yes. I mean, they go hand in hand. I make music for for the jitters, for the dancers. When I'm making a track, I envision people dancing to it, or how it will work in the club. If you can't jit to it, you can't hit to it, then
What's the point?
Can't jit to it, you can't hit to it.
Right.
Amazing.
yeah.
Yeah. So I see that you've got a date lined up in Germany, in Tresor. Are you looking forward to that? Have you played there before?
Yeah, I played there New Year's Eve.
Nice.
With Juan.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
He was here a couple of weeks
Yeah,
ago.
we had him down.
Yeah. I heard. Yeah. What was that like?
It was great. It was. I think he had quite a long travel thing before he came here, but yeah, I think he smashed it.
Yeah.
And
It was great.
it was great to have him to interview as well.
Yeah.
You were going to ask, Harry? You were going to ask about your background in hip hop as well.
I wanted to ask if so I know that you have a background playing hip hop a lot as well. I was wondering if you play with an MC as well, or if you MC yourself.
Back in 90, I was with a rap group called One Nation. I wasn't a rapper. I was the DJ for the group. From that, from being with that group, is what led up to. It's what birthed MAP Records. From being with them, but from there we went to form MAP Records with DJ P Dog. Now DJ P Dog, he's more of the hip hop guy. His voice is the voice you hear on Get Up. Being a DJ in Detroit, you have to MC. You can't DJ a party and not speak to your crowd.
You gotta have the mic.
Yeah, you gotta speak to your people.
So contrasting in the techno scene.
Yeah.
Where if you were to pick up a microphone, people would be like, "What's going on?"
That's why it's totally it's totally different. Yeah.
Right.
I guess in the UK, I mean, we have like the underground scenes in London specifically have had MC culture related to it, but I guess it
But
isn't
more so
something
in the
that
drum
we
and bass sort of
in drum and bass in
drum
UK
scene, yeah.
garage and in forms previous like the hardcore techno scene, I guess.
But not with electro.
Not with electro, maybe not so prevalent in like the house and techno scenes that we see anymore, but definitely back in the early 90s. I guess it's something that has been delineated in specific ways, and that being an MC in dance parties is definitely still a thing in current Detroit
Oh yeah.
music culture.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You now techno parties, house parties, no. But if you doing it at the street level, you better have a microphone.
Yeah.
It's about vibe continuation, right?
Yeah.
Prolong it.
You
Connecting, like,
exactly.
and connecting.
You mess around and DJ a party in Detroit and you don't communicate with your crowd, they'll let you know. They'll let you know.
Nice.
I wanted to. Well, we got time for one more.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you if you have any records that you've played so much you've worn out and you can't play anymore.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know how many versions of Clear I've gone through. How many versions of Hashim It's Time I've gone through. Certain records you know, whenever you go into a shop and you see it, you buy it because you know you're gonna wear them out.
Yeah, you're
You
gonna
know.
do that one as well.
But now with the Serato, not so much now. I digitize them and then I keep them. But before Serato, oh yeah, go through tons and tons. That's why we would buy 5, 6, 7 copies of the same record.
yeah, if it's good.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
It's amazing, like those specific records that you talked about, like Hashim, Al Fish, and Cybertron Clear. They sounded like the future then. They still sound like the future now.
They still,
They do, they
I was
do.
just listening to R9 tonight, and the record still sound like it's made in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe that's like we were going to ask you about like the key to your longevity in the music industry. Maybe it relates to the forward-thinking nature of the kinds of music you're making. That it was always forward-thinking, so much so that even 30 years later.
Well, it's the thing. Here's the thing. Art never gets old. When it's good, it never gets old. So those guys just created some hell of art.
yeah.
Timeless music.
So, what parties do you have coming up then? You mentioned Oval Space and stuff like that. Where else are you DJing in the next few weeks and coming months?
Trezor, of course, and I got some stuff going down in India. Yeah.
I saw a boiler room in India. I mean, I'm half Indian. I wasn't aware that there was like a big music scene in India.
You know
of this
what?
kind of thing.
I've never been. I'm looking forward to it though.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward.
Whereabouts is your gig?
I have to look that up. It's 2 places.
Maybe
I think
Mumbai,
yeah, that's one. And yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be exciting. I'd love to go myself. I've never been.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. Not looking forward to the long journey.
No.
Yeah, I heard it's like 22 hours or something
What,
to get
from-
there.
from the US it will be,
Yeah.
That is the other side, isn't it? That
Yeah.
is the other side.
Cool, man. Did you have any other questions for? Well, thank you very much for coming down. We're honoured for you to be here and be at the Thread Studio. We're going to be really excited to see your set in about, what are we talking about? About now.
All right.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And did you want to say anything
My
else?
pleasure.
Any shout outs to the crew?
Shout out to everybody that's out there dancing.
Yeah.
Keep banging. And it's not just about Detroit, it's about the world. So let's bang it out.
Let's bang it out. Thank you so much.
off.
Thanks for being with us today.
Cheers for having us.
Safe.